like, people always call it Monday morning quarterbacking and whatever. So, I'm a multifaceted individual, and I'm going to add this to the front of yesterday's video because I haven't even finished uploading that one yet or editing it. I was doing some live stuff, taking my wife around. Some of you guys saw the live feeds yesterday. And I was calculating how much it cost for the, let me pause this because I'm going to grab it on my other phone. There's a couple things we're going to go over this morning. I was going over how much the Lucas low-cost unmanned combat attack system, Lucas, is a $35,000 long-range one-way kamikaze drone developed by Arizona-based Spectre Works for the U.S. military. This guy right here. I was trying to calculate how much it cost, and I'm going to save you guys a bunch of time because it's later on in the video. You can see it. Really, I'm adding this little snippet on here for Tommy G, who emailed me last night. We'll get to that. I wanted to calculate how much it cost per drop of blood for the little children, the babies killed in Gaza, or the little girls killed in the school in southern Iran. 148 people, most of them schoolgirls in southern Iran. Several thousands in, and it gets into the more detail, several thousands in, right, Gaza. Let's calculate how many drops of blood are in how many milliliters of blood are in a drop of blood, and how many liters of blood are inside of an average human or baby child. We'll average it up. The bulk cost, I want to make sure we're getting low-cost attack drone, right? I'm not making this up. Low-cost attack drone. President Xi Jinping is sitting there telling the United States that the United States doesn't have a right to just go out preemptively killing people, even if they're getting a good price per dollar on a drop of blood. And let's just say right now that the average cost per baby unalived in Gaza was $15,000. You can calculate. That's a conservative estimate. You can calculate it out yourself. I invite you to do so. Maybe you come up with a different figure than I did. My figure is $15,000 per baby unalived or child unalived in Gaza. And the ones in the southern district of Iran at the school, at the girls' school, where there were 148 people unalived, was $199,000, where they actually used the low-cost combat attack drone. So it doesn't seem like it's that low cost, but let's figure out how much blood is inside of a little baby's or a little kid's body, right? We're going to figure this out. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to be right back to you with your figure. One sec. The average adult human body contains about 4,500 to 5,500 milliliters of blood. That's the same as 4.5 to 5.5 liters, or about 1.2 to 1.5 gallons. Okay, you with me so far? So if a child is about half that size, we're going to go with just a little over half a gallon, right? 0.6 gallons. Or to say 2,250 milliliters, okay? One sec, I'll be right back. A typical drop of blood is about 0.03 to 0.05 milliliters. That equals about 30 to 50 microliters, which is a sign that looks like an upside down H. If you took an H, inverted it, and then dumped it upside down, that would give you micro. You use this a lot with the metric system and whatnot when you're measuring things in microns and what have you. Take an H, flip it around, then flip it upside down again, and you got your little sign. About 20 drops per milliliter, okay? One more sec. We're going to be right back with your figure. If we use the smallest drop size in a child, this isn't even counting a baby. This is just a child, the little schoolgirls that are over there. So half size of a full-grown adult human being. You're going to have a range using the smallest drop size, but we're going to be conservative And we're going to use the smallest drop size because we want to make sure we got the most bang for the bucks when it comes to killing kids. Because they clearly don't care about the kids down on Epstein Island. Maybe we, at least when we're unaliving children in another country, we can make sure we're doing it economically. You with me so far, Punchy? I want to make sure you politicians and APAC bot politicians aren't losing me because some of you are a little slow. I want to make sure you got this right. In 2,250 milliliters, which is about the size of a little kid, how much blood's in their body? You're going to get a range between 45,000 and 74,250 drops. And we're going to be conservative. We're going to consider you got more drops of blood for the money. So when your range of $15,000 to unalive a baby in Gaza on the amount of money that you spend on munitions, not counting the logistics and everything, or the delivery vehicles, just munitions, okay? And just munitions in Iran. The bombs that you sent, the Tomahawks, and the drones. When we look at that, and the figures are later in this video, if you want to go figure out where it's at, you can go have a look and see if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I invite you to do so. The comment section's there for a reason. We're going to go with 75,000 drops. So, to avoid wasting your time, here's yesterday's figure. It doesn't want to punch in. On figuring out to unalive the little girls in that school, it cost $199,000 a piece, right? And so, with the kids in Gaza, it was $15,000. So for the little kids in Gaza, it cost us a total of $2.65 per drop of blood. For the little girls in Gaza, it's right there, right? And then if we come over here and we go 15,000 divided by 75,000, we got a much better buy not using for the little babies in Gaza because we funded all of Israel's weapons. It only cost us 20 cents per drop of blood. So you're getting Israel's much more economic when they're doing it over in Gaza, large scale for themselves, than they are when they're doing it over in Iran in conjunction with the United States. We need to pick up the speed. And we used low-cost combat drones, kamikazes, taking out girls. China and Russia are right to call out the United States on this. Every single human with a heart is right to call out Israel for corrupting our APAC purchase politicians. Go ahead and demonetize me, deplatform me, YouTube. I don't give a shit. I'll go right over to Rumble and say the same thing because right is right, wrong is wrong. Okay? So that's the first little snippet of what's going on today. Let's do something else. Let's get over to Tommy G. Before I read you guys this email, Tommy G accused me of accusing him of having a creative writer. I want to clear that up, and I will stick the screenshots in here. Creative writer, in fact, you know what? I can do it over here. Let's get out of this. I'm going to pause it so you don't have to watch all this garbage. Here we go. You can't see it. But everybody over at Ironclad, the guy above everybody is a cat by the name of Jeremy Carey, who is on the Roadster Shop podcast talking about his return on investment, or ROI, and so he's worried about making sure that he gets money back on his investment, which is just smart business. But it's business. It's not news. News is not predicated upon business. Business is predicated upon viewership, though, and the two have nothing to do with each other. It can be profitable, but you need to have stories to put out there. In Jeremy Carey's video, and I'm saying this with complete confidence because it's his words. You can go over to Roadster Shop video and look at it yourself. He says that if something checks 2 out of 3 boxes, they'll do a story. It has to either be educational, entertaining, or empowering. This is Jeremy Carey, the chief person at Ironclad, of whom I have tried to contact on numerous occasions. He's never gotten back to me until I interviewed the person that Kat Schultz interviewed on one of their episodes, right? They've blown me off routinely several times for a long, long time. So according to Jeremy, it doesn't have to be educational, which means it doesn't even have to be true. As long as it is entertaining or engaging or whatever, you can go check out his exact verbiage on that thing. And that it's empowering. So if you're growing your bank account, right, and if you are entertaining, it's engaging with the audience, it doesn't have to be true, which is to say educational. They'll do a video on it. So I pick apart Kat Schultz's video, which I've got up. It's still up. Still haven't heard anything back from Kat. And I get this email. Hey, Dave, this is Jesse from Ironclad. I received your email about interest in our Borderland Dispatches film about the rehab. And Borderland Dispatches is over there at the Ironclad group. You can go look it up. It's right here. Here it is. Borderland. Here's Kat Schultz. Vince Rocco Vargas, Kat Schultz, Andy Stump, another Navy SEAL, and Sean Ryan, right? This is Jesse from Ironclad. I received, and Jesse is, by the way, Jesse Carey. I'm assuming that's Jeremy Carey's brother. I received your email about interest in our Borderland Dispatches film about the center rehab in Tijuana. Would like to set up a call to discuss later this week, question mark. Just let me know and I will make sure that I have the right producer on to answer any of your questions. And when you look up here, he has Bruna Villela. Bruna Villela, this is ironclad.com, Jeremy's company. So Bruna did something interesting after I responded to him, because I get tired of being blown off by these people. And I responded to him basically with, I'm going a different direction with this. The direction I'm going is I am going to start putting these guys on blast on my channel until they start fixing their stuff. And the reason why isn't drama. The reason why is because, like these little kids that we just got done figuring out that their blood is worth, what was it, $2 and change to 20 cents per drop. There are real consequences on the policies that people support based on what they view on YouTube. It's got nothing to do with me. I don't ever have to be on Tommy G's, Julian Dory's, Mark Gagnon's. And Mark Gagnon and Julian, I want to make clear, I think are really cool individuals, man. I've met them in person. I would have them in my house. No problem. Let me pause this. I got to find this thing, and I don't want you to... Because Villela, or Bruna Villela, has made her Indeed thing private now after this email. One sec. Bruna Villela says, and I quote, she is the creative producer over at Ironclad, right? And she made her entire Indeed thing private. So she's the creative direction, shaping tone, narrative structure, and overall episode flow while writing titles, descriptions, show notes, YouTube strategy and optimization, executive oversight, planning, publishing schedules, aligning release strategy with marketing, creative direction. This is her stuff. This is off of what she made private. I'm a creative producer and showrunner with a passion for building content that's not only strategic and engaging, but deeply resonant. I've led the end-to-end production of top-ranked podcasts, branded shows, and long-form video content, bringing clarity, consistency, and storytelling, insight to every stage of the process for distribution on YouTube and all major podcast platforms. My core strengths include production and editorial, guest research and booking, writing interview questions, supporting live recordings, paper edit, and final quality control. Creative direction, shaping tone, narrative structure, and overall episode flow while writing titles. Hey, Bruno, why don't you want people seeing all this while I'm sitting there calling you guys out for and catching cat in a, what was it, 4 or 5 lies that I caught? The same source that she interviewed, man. Let's continue with Bruno. Let's not let Bruno off the hook. I've worn many hats. Producer, writer, creative lead, coordinator, voiceover actor, and thrive in environments where collaboration, storytelling, and purpose meet. That's your rooster right there. That's her. If you go look up Bruno Villela on Indeed right now, you're going to find out that that page is no longer publicly accessible. Wow, man. Snack Girl over in Ironclad as an intern. She was remembered because of her snack organizing abilities, and she went back and got a job there later. So let's get into Tommy. And hey, Tommy and Bruna and Jesse and Jeremy, even though you guys don't ever want to field any of my phone calls every time I'm calling Ironclad, I don't know. You guys got gringos growing on trees that actually worked for the Mexican government against the cartels? Because we're going to get into that in a little bit. Tommy wants to validate me. Let me read Tommy's email. I've already read you guys my initial email to Tommy going back when he's looking for people that have anything to do with Cartel de Jalisco de Nueva Generación, which I do. And I tell him that in the email. Let's see what I get yesterday. You know, before we get too far off base, let's look up Jesse Carey and see if he's got his Indeed thing published. Or not Indeed, LinkedIn rather. My bad. So here's Bruno Villela's LinkedIn on Ironclad, okay? So if we come over here, let me make sure that's focused, and we click on that. Holy shit. Not publicly available. Whoa, man. Wonder why. It was. I just took all the screenshots I was showing you guys. So let's look and see what happens if we put Jeremy Carey over there. Or Jesse Carey. Jeremy's probably got his up, but Jesse Carey. LinkedIn. Jesse Carey. Relevant Media Group. Virginia Beach, Virginia. This has got to be him. Let's see if this is open. That's open. Cool deal. Bruno's not, though. The one that has something attached to that thing. I wonder why. Jeremy Carey is almost certainly. Yeah, Jeremy Carey. So that's who we're talking about with this guy. I don't know how clear that is. But it's just strange to me that after I start writing emails about Bruna's thing, that she puts that thing private. Let's get into Tommy's email. This is an email from Tommy G. And I'm going to... Here we go. Date yesterday at 7:53, March 1st, p.m. Okay? Tommy G. Dave, yeah, man. You came pretty hot out of the gate, accusing me of lying, gatekeeping, and having creative writers on my payroll. What the hell is that about? All right, Tommy, I'm going to explain to you what this is about. This is about real people being on the other side of the policies that you and other people like you drive by not substantiating your sources. And if I'm wrong, please explain to the entire world how you verified Mrs. 2 ounces of cocaine at a time, having his chick mule bring it up, is actually cartel and not just some cholo selling drugs for $40 a pop. In your video, your words, you published it, you edited it, and you put it out. How he is cartel level distribution at 2 ounces at a time while he's sitting there selling stuff for $40 down at the corner liquor store parking lot. You explain it, Tommy. That's you. I call your burner phones, and admittedly they could be burner phones in your video. This isn't drama. This is just what you guys put out, and I'm double checking it. And just like Nate Valhalla VFT got done blowing up on me the other night, I'm not going to get all emotional about it. I had Julian Dory call me up. You can talk to Mark, you can talk to Julian, you can talk to everybody but me. I gave you my phone number and you didn't even want to do that. I offered to fly to you in the same email chain that I got here on my dime at your pleasure. On my dime to talk to you about this in person, but you didn't want to do that. So no phone call from you, no in-face person-to-person meeting. Julian's calling me repeatedly when I didn't pick up the first time to say, yo, what the F is up with you? You're talking to everybody but me, and I'm the only guy that's actually been in Mexico out of the three of you on an official on official business for the Mexican government. So I'm not accusing you of having a creative writer. I'm accusing them of having a creative writer because it's in their own words. Creative producer, writer, Bruna Villela, okay? Asilo más claro, cabrón. Like that, or do you need to be clearer, man? And then you're sitting there, you'll get into it where Julian and Tom and Mark think I'm cool. I am cool. I'm like a super fun person to hang out with, man. I would love to be cool to you. But what we're going to do is have some truth in the stuff that you guys are putting out there, because unlike you, Tommy, and unlike anybody else attached to this except presumably for Ed, who's the only one I've validated. I haven't even validated Gafe 423. I would love to have a talk with him. He avoids me like the plague, man. And he's going to continue to do so, probably because I've sent him an email on a WhatsApp message recently. I can get into that. You are going to treat Mexicans and American lives with respect. I earned a uniform, and even though I'm not sitting in that uniform right this second, I did make a deal to where I was going to do everything in my power to protect innocent people, to make sure that they're not harmed by anything, including half-truths, misstatements, and stuff that's not getting out there. Let's get into your thing, because you're saying that Julian and Mark say I'm cool. Let me ask you a question, Tommy. The last email I sent you, even after Julian asked me, yo, Dave, what the fuck did you say to Tommy on your behalf, calling me? Here's what I said to you. Coming in hot. Here's coming in hot. This is me to Tommy right after he's talking about wanting to have people that know anything about Cartel de Jalisco, de Nueva Generación. I tell him, let's talk. And then you ask me, do I have a Signal app? I tell you, no, I do not. But if you want, I'll fly to meet you at my expense. No date specified. Tommy says, let's start with the call. I'd like to learn more about you, what we'd be covering. And it makes sense for us to do a story together 100%. Let's get to work. Except, Tommy, I emailed you about a year ago with pictures of me standing right next to Mexican military with a fall, which is what my channel's named after. You stopped talking to me. You emailed me a couple times and fell off the face of the earth. Why? Because I'm real? Because I speak English and know what goes on in Mexico? Because if people are saying lies, I will know it immediately? This isn't drama, Tommy. This is about making sure that policies are not supported because people hear half-truths online and then they wind up turning into wars which kill real people, of which you're not around, man, when the bullets and bombs start flying. No drama. All real. Pure fact. And then I told you, because in the interim while you sent that, I'd said to you, if you're free tomorrow this weekend, let me know. I'll fly to you. I didn't say I'll fly to you, but meaning in the context that I will fly to you on my dime. And then you had also sent, let's start with the call. So I send you my phone number right here, Tommy. It's that one right there. You can see it. You instantly realize that it's me from the previous email and decide not to respond, because here you're responding every 2 to 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden you drop off the map. And I told you, hey, Tommy, I have a call tomorrow morning with a major podcaster, which happened to be with Ironclad. I was just reading the email from. Hey, Tommy, I have a call tomorrow with a major podcaster that does a lot of cartel-related content. I've been watching all of yours and their content for a while now at this point, and have actually directly fought Cartel de Jalisco, de Nueva Generación, in Zacatecas firsthand. This is me to Tommy. I have a question, because I've been going through everyone's videos and creating an OSINT, open source intelligence database, which is weird, because before I started creating that database, none of these guys would talk to me at all with a stick. I've contacted each one of them several times, man. And until I start applying methodology to all of their content, none of them want anything to do with me, which is crazy because I am the only American that I know of that's ever carried a weapon in Mexico for the Mexican government against the same cartels these guys are reporting on. I see this is at 25 minutes. Forgive me, this is maybe going to drag out because this, in conjunction with the other video, the episode might run a little long today. If you want to listen to it, listen to it. If you don't, don't. I'm also pursuing a law degree in this country and have recently found some major holes and have interviewed an interviewee that was featured on one of these podcasts where he refutes many of their claims directly. That's the Caterina Schultz video with Mark Rivera at Enfermeros Tácticos in Tijuana. I got their phone call recorded, I uploaded it, and in that same video, I posted all the credentials you're about to ask me for in your email, Tommy. And I also told Ironclad I'm not interested in being drug around by the chain anymore. I'm going a different direction. I am going to start poking holes in every single thing that you guys put out. To be clear, you don't ever have to have me on any of your shows ever again. I'm going to still continue doing what I do. And your silence like you haven't responded to me. I responded to you immediately last night. I'm sitting here. Here we are. 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. You're 2 hours ahead of me and you still haven't gotten back to me. Your silence or your words are both going to speak. They're going to say something. You either came out one way or you came out another way with it. Your silence is also a data point. Okay? And it's all going into the database. A lot of you have acted as gatekeepers to cartel-related content, even though none of you have any direct experience, bearing in mind that proximity is not being cartel, nor is it cartel experience. Gatekeepers? Yeah, Tommy, I actually have experience, and then now your email that you're about to get it, well, I'll get into, is asking me to validate myself. You are gatekeeping me from doing stuff like asking a simple question. Why would a cartel, any cartel, when they're sitting there shrink wrapping marijuana into packs to make sure they get the maximum amount of product into the smallest area possible, fill a 255, right? 55 R17 tire, or even a 215-55 R17 tire, which will fit at a density of 15.2 grams of methamphetamine per cubic inch, which will fit about 30 kilos. Why would they only fill it half full, like your cartel contact states that they're doing in the spare tire? Fill it half full with product, taking all that risk, and you're not going to maximize your return? 0 cents. While she's under federal indictment on a case that's 2 years old in your video, this is your last video that you uploaded on the cartel thing. Mr. $40 sold at a time, 2 ounces brought over the corner, selling at $40 at a time down in the parking lot or the corner. And then the portly one, the lady, is sitting there with multiple children talking about how dangerous it is to speak out against the cartel. And her best instinct is to jump onto your podcast, knowing that cartels will unalive her and her entire family. And she's only filling the spare tire in the SUV vehicle half full of product. How did you validate any of them were cartel? Reasonable questions, man. You dress nice, you got more money than I do, you can vet these things if you want to, you can come after me, you can do whatever you can do. But what you can't do is explain away those questions. Explain why someone would go through 2 ounces at a time to bring something over a border, where even a tire that's half full of cocaine at 15 kilos would take that same individual to 2 ounces at a time, 250 trips to bring the same amount over. And it's the same cartel or any cartel that's going to be doing that, when cartels themselves have best practices, ways things should be done. I'm pretty sure filling a vehicle half full in a spare tire is not best practices, Tommy. These are things that you can explain to your audience. These are just questions I'm asking. I don't know the answer to them. Maybe you do, because you're the one standing right there with cartel employees, the same way that Kat's sitting there in a cartel-operated rehab, that the guy that she interviewed sat right there and said flat out that it's not a cartel-related rehab, and it's so clandestine that the municipal presidents and stuff like that, per Mark Rivera, the guy Kat Schultz interviewed, States is helping him out with cars and, 3 to 5 tanks of gasoline per week. Super clandestine, man. And then, not to let Vince Rocco off the hook over at Ironclad, but Pierre Rossini, his go-to cartel contact, apparently Vince vetted him as being a tech guy for a cartel when Pierre Rossini, hey Pierre, if I'm wrong about any of this, feel free to jump into the pool, dog, has been in Mexico on a total of one occasion at a New Year's Eve party or something like that, and barring that, hasn't been in Mexico at all, was supposedly vetted by Rocco, Vincent Rocco Vargas, as being in the know on cartel and had been vetted because he was a cartel's tech guy. When, Vince? Pierre Rossini went to prison back in 1999 or 2000, spent 23 years in prison, got out a couple years ago. Was he doing tech work for the cartel? And what is tech work for the cartel, by the way? Is that just him merely making Excel spreadsheets tracking his own shipments here in the United States domestically? I would like to know the extent of Pierre Rossini's technical capability. In fact, I'm going and getting a degree in computer science right now myself. I have class later today. I would love to know the extent of Pierre Rossini's, and a head up, stick us both on camera and let us see who can code better. I would like to know the extent of Pierre Rossini's technical capabilities. If it's with Kali, whether it's whatever the extent is, Ruby, Python, Java, right? Linux. What else we got up there? C#, C++, C++, penetration testing. Pierre, what is the ability, what is the extent of your technical capabilities that you utilize to expand your knowledge on all things cartel? When you're sitting in prison for 23 years, so you got a lot of time to go to school, I'll give you that. But when you're sitting in a Bureau of Federal Prisons, I'm pretty sure you're not doing tech work for the cartel anywhere between 1999 or 2000 to 2023. So Vincent Rocco Vargas' claim of you doing tech work for the cartel, when, where, and how. There's a book that I need to read on you. You know, there's a lot of things. There's a guy on the Fort Bragg cartel that sits there and accuses Fort Bragg cartel Green Berets of cartel level distribution, but there's not one federal indictment that's come out of Sean. His last name escapes me. He writes a book on it. No federal indictments. Tommy G, your people got all kinds of federal indictments imposed, supposedly, going back 2 years. I'd love to dig into it, and I am, on all the federal indictments that came out of that and what the resolution of those cases were in particular. Pierre Rossini, getting back to you. You've been out of prison for a couple years. Are you doing tech work for the cartel now currently while you're doing all your podcasts? So Vince, when you're vetting Pierre Rossini's technical background, and respect to you, Vince, I like you, but I'm asking honest, open questions, which we all should. I posted all of my documents, my carta de comisión. I've got my carta de portación up on the top of my YouTube channel. I've got check stubs I put in my thing. Countless videos and photos of me at work. In fact, I sent Tommy a slew of them last night to validate who I am. Stuff that you guys have never asked from Ed Calderon, by the way. Stuff that you've never asked from Gafe 423, by the way. Stuff that you don't ask from any of your cartel people. Showing wads of cash and being paid every 15th going back. Ollie Gonzalez, you and Johnny Mitchell. I've got Johnny Mitchell on phone sitting right there admitting that he never validated a nickel of your story and how it is someone with 70 murders under their belts winds up going to Britain and letting Britain have you over there. I'm still digging into all your story before I created its own entire episode, but this is where I'm going, and I'm not wrong at all. And I'm not afraid to meet any of you guys up and buy you steak dinner. Tommy, I've offered to buy you Ruth Chris Steakhouse. That's pretty cool. Julian and Mark say you're cool, right? Yeah, I am cool. Super cool. Until you start saying stuff that isn't correct or not answering honest, open questions. Honest, open questions. Anybody can ask them. Ollie Gonzalez, not validated. How is it someone with this amount of murders goes down and gets out 3 years in a Mexican prison. I would love to see your Mexican record. Hey, Ali Gonzalez, let's do this. Why don't you pull up a carta de antecedentes penales like they got in Mexico? Show the world, hey, yeah, I'm legit. This is what I was in prison for. And see if it aligns with any of your cartel stuff. Pull up the transcripts from all that because they have them. I went to law school in Mexico, Ali. I know a little bit about that. I've got class stuff that I can upload right now from my course material while going to law school in Mexico, where I'm sitting there listening to live tribunals, tribunarios, to where we're going through and we're checking out everything in real-time court cases. So I would love to see what you got to validate that you've got 70 murders under your belt or you're attached to any cartel in particular. Really. I would love to see what you got. Because what I've seen so far on, what is this? It's the Bible one. Lad Bible, that's it. Lad Bible. The other one where you're with the British journalist chick. The one where you're with Johnny Mitchell. The other one where you're talking to the dude from Houston that was born in Stockton or whatever. I would like to see you validate your background the way I validated mine. And then Johnny Mitchell's the other cartel guy that has to hide his identity, but he's got 7.5 hours of being able to sit there with you, Johnny Mitchell. His cartel doesn't know where he's at all day long. Hey, Johnny, you know why we work 43-hour shifts for my general and get 5 hours off and have to be back at work within 3 to 5 hours, the amount of time we get off, 365 days a year? Because they want to know where we're at so we're not out getting into trouble. So this guy having 7 hours to go screw around with you, recording something, while he's got his Chinese character letters all over his thing. They can see his face. They can hear how he talks. He's not around, and they will flat out execute him and his entire family if he's caught giving up anything to you. And that goes for Cat Schultz's foreign or Canadian cartel contacts giving up their operational stuff. Yeah, things that didn't happen. So let's get back to Tommy's email, my email to him. I'm just stating this because even with your last video, I called the burner phones, blah, 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 blah. I go into the cocaine density. Let me be clear. I was doing a blah, blah, blah. Serious business. If you have anyone claiming to be from them, your cartel contacts, I'll meet them in person in Mexico or anywhere else, and we can do a 3-way interview, Tommy. I'm not trying to be abrasive. I'm just not going to be blown off or ignored by outsiders, which, with total respect, you are. I'll close with this. Strange that cartel content investigative journalists that report quasi-news have creative writers in their employ. I know because I have a call with a couple of them tomorrow regarding their content. Not you, Tommy. Their content. I'm going to put it right there so it's in plain English for anyone that wants to read it. So, Tommy, again, I'm not saying you got creative writers in your employ, but Ironclad sure as hell does. Their words. Bruna Villela. Go look her up. She probably doesn't have you blocked. Do what you will with this call. Don't. It doesn't matter. I have a story. I was there directly in an official capacity that I don't have to hide, and I'm not afraid of cartel or covering my face. Then we get into Julian calling me a couple times. I'm not going to give you his number. But Julian goes on to say, Dave, what the fuck did you say to Tommy G? Sorry, gentlemen, but I got to do this. Because people's lives are more important, and people need to know that the policy and the stories that they're hearing online, this is what goes on behind the scenes. Julian calls me a couple times in a row. If I can pull it up, I will. Where is it at? I've got it right here. Julian Dory calls me at 2:23. I don't answer. And then he calls me at 2:25. I do answer. I don't want you seeing Julian's number, but you're going to have to take my word for it or not. Maybe I can go like this. The phone call lasts for 2 minutes and 8 seconds. In that phone call, he goes on. He's like, whoa, Dave. You don't want to be known as that guy. Hey, Julian, Mark, Tommy, you guys are all buddies. Here's what's up. I'm going to be known as that guy because I was there, and I'm going to validate every single thing that's said, including from Ed Calderon, of which I called Baja California State Police on numerous occasions. Finally got through, and with Ed's queep number, validated that he was there. I did not validate how long. Okay? And Ed did earn a uniform. And Ed and I are friendly. We're on speaking terms, and I like Ed. Ed's super cool, man. Cool people. I dig him. Gafe, I wanted to have an upfront talk with Gafe because I'm a man and I believe in being like, hey, what's up? I'm right here. Going into Mexico with all these people that you don't step foot in Mexico. I have a heart still in the heart of Cartel de Jalisco, the Nueva Generacion territory, which was Zeta cartel territory and Sinaloa cartel territory and Gulf cartel territory. Still, right now. And here, you're going to love this one. I'm retiring there, dude. It's my home. I built that whole place inside. I've got videos of it I can stick right in here. So any of you guys sitting there saying I don't put my money where my mouth is, you know what? Yes, I did. I stepped in your foot in a uniform every day for years. This isn't cartel drama. This is us realigning all of the cartel content, podcaster bullshit that's out there that gets presented to you every day as fact, and they don't validate anything. So that's basically the end of the email. Now we've gotten to the text message because Tommy won't get back to me, but he'll run right over to Julian and tell Julian to contact me. Tommy won't contact me. Hey, Tommy, why won't you contact me, man? You got my phone number. You'll have Julian. Hey, does Julian walk you to the bathroom, Tommy? I'm not planning on doing it. And I sent you a whole bunch of stuff last night, but because you didn't get back to me this morning, and because you've had, I don't know, what is it, a week now? What is it with this guy, man? Where's it at? I sent this email to you, Tommy, on February 19th. 2 weeks ago, dude. Let me get that out of the way. February 19th, right there, dude. I send it to you. Do what you will, don't. So then Tommy calls me up. That phone call. Let's go to the same day, dude. He gets back to me the same day. You'll get back to me. I can get back to you within minutes. You'll get back to me within minutes until I start hitting you up with like some reality, man. You'll get right over to Julian, right? All the way over in New Jersey, but you can't get with me. So I call, Julian calls me, I miss it. Julian calls me again, I pick up, right? Stuff that's going on behind the scenes. Julian tells me, hey, you need to like be chill. You don't want to be that guy with Tommy. And so I sent Tommy back an email. I told Julian, that's what I told Julian. I told Julian, hey, I'm busy for the next couple hours, but I'm busy for the next hour. I will have Tommy G an email within an hour. That's what I told him. And then Julian tells me, I talked to Tommy and hopefully cleaned it up a bit for you. Like, I'm something that needs to be cleaned up to Tommy. Hey, Tommy, let's be clear. I'm not cleaning up anything with you, dude. I was in Mexico with my uniform and with my brothers. You weren't. End of story. Full stop. I don't need your money. I don't need your reach, and I don't need your platform. I have my own. Even with the 1,000 subscribers that I got right now, I have something that you don't. I was there. You weren't. And I know a lie when I hear it because I know what to look for. I talked to Tommy and hopefully cleaned it up for you. This is Julian. Cleaned it up a bit for you. Your email was crazy, though, laughing my ass. Crazy how? Expecting these guys to validate their sources, Julian? Come on, man. I like you, too, dude. I'm super cool with you, man. I think you're the shit. I think you got your stuff together. I love Mark and his whole crew, too. And Deef in your office over there, man, I love that guy, too, man. I think you guys are friggin' awesome. I came at Tommy straight. I came at him like a man. I gave him my number and offered to fly out there on my dime. What's not more respectable than that? And then even after email here, Tommy, as you're about to, Julian, as you're about to see. I offered to buy Tommy Ruth Chris. I'm super clear or sure they've got one either in Chicago or up in Wisconsin. I used to live in Chicago. I'm dead sure they got something like that out there. On my dime, of which he doesn't even need my money. I'll still come out of pocket, making less than he does, just to be a good host. Amicable. Just be careful, man. Careful of what, Julian? Was in a fucking uniform in Mexico getting shot at. One sec. I gotta take this. They hung up. Go figure. The call-out shit is not a good culture online. You do not want to be known as that guy. Yeah, Julian, I do. I absolutely want to be known as the call-out shit because here, money is never going to be more important than blood. I left a $100,000 a year job with bonuses and a great future to go make $600 a month. You guys can see it. I posted my check stubs. They're right there in a post on the bottom of my page. Go look at them. Go look at them now. I'm totally that guy because I'm not sitting here. I'm writing a book. In fact, my wife has got me yelling at me because I have to have 3 recordings done on that today too to get the book out there, right? This is going to be a 2-part video. I'll do this part, upload it without editing it, and then upload yesterday's video behind that part 2. So you can get into the blood thing, right? I'm totally going to be that guy. I'm going to call out everybody, and I want everybody calling out me too, and you're going to do it. I already know because I already know I'm not making friends, but guess what? When I was in Mexico working with a guy by the name of John Casera, who was a hitman for a cartel and is sitting in prison right now, worked in the same GOTPE Special Forces unit that I was attached to, a part of, and he was Colombian Special Forces killing people down there. He's in prison right now. You can look it up on Google. I need to be careful of what exactly, Julian? Be careful of shooting myself in the foot by having too much authenticity, which other people lack? I'm straight out of fucks to give, man. For real. The call-out shit is not a good culture online. You do not want to be known as that guy. I don't care if I'm known as that guy because I was there. Everybody else is attached peripherally to what goes on to the cartel stuff in Mexico. I wasn't. So I'll say what the fuck I want. Thank you very much. And I like you. I like you. And you told me, because I've asked you, Julian, have I done something to offend you? You told me you're from Jersey. I'd have to shoot you in the cock in order to say something offensive. I know you're man enough to take this, unlike your girlfriend, Tommy G, that has to sit there and call Mark, call you to figure out if it's okay to talk to Big Daddy Dave. Fuck out of here, man. Come on, dude. You know better than that, dude. So does Mark living in Brooklyn. You ought to know. You seem to have a great personal story and experience, and that, along with your personal expertise where relevant, is what you should focus on, in my opinion. I agree with you, dude. Totally agree with you. But first, we got to call things by their proper names, and we got to say what's what. People need to not be representing cholos as cartel-level distribution, whether it's at Fort Bragg or whether it's on Tommy G's videos. And I tell you in the video, yo, man, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, you're a friend to me. At Judo, brother, talk soon. What I was doing. And then I'm like, my bad. And then I send Tommy this email at 5:22 p.m. So 2 hours later, he called me at 2:30. I'm sending it at 5:22 p.m. Hi, Tommy. I spoke with Julian and realized I may have come across the wrong way. It sometimes happens over internet communications. This is me trying to be cool. I spoke with Julian and realized, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'd love to buy you a meal at Ruth's Chris and sit down to talk whenever you're up for it. Whenever you're up for it. I will avail myself to your schedule, Tommy. That's pretty cool. And sit down and talk whenever you're up for it. My goal is simple. To make sure the audience gets the truth, and sometimes that takes a proper conversation. What we're having right now out in YouTube land, because you don't seem to want to have it at all. Bearing in mind, Tommy, you know what? I got to pull it up. I got to figure out the first time I sent you my number. I'll make the time. Just let me know what works for you the best day. And then Julian's all good, bro. If he doesn't respond, and he probably won't, just leave it be. Now, I don't think I'm going to leave it be, dog. I'm going to sit there. I went to Mexico to go punch the devil in the nose repeatedly. So let me pause this because I'm going to pull up my first email to Julian. So Tommy G, I've got it right here. I first spoke to you January 23rd of 2025, more than a year ago, dude. And you're sitting here, you've got my number in here, which is why you didn't respond to me. You responded to Julian, and you responded to Mark instead of me. So hey Tommy, thanks for sending, is what you tell me. Can you tell me a little more? What was your role and what the time period this was? Sounds like a badass job. That was sent by you January 23rd, 2025 at 7:39. Let's talk. So I send you this, and then I'm responding again because you blow me off. And I've got pictures of me right here being in Russia. It's right there. You can see it. Hey, Tommy, let me ask you this. Here's your boy right here. That's me. You see me right there in my uniform, dude? That guy? And then, hey, Tommy, you see this guy right here? A Mexican three-star general? No, 2-star. My bad. You see that? You see the proximity? Me being armed. You see that 9mm on my hip, and my long gun is in my unit, just a few feet from me, standing probably 15 feet away from a Mexican 2-Eagle general. Is that legit enough for you? How much more legit do I have to get, Tommy? That's what I sent you before. Hey, Tommy, do you see this? This is me clearly in uniform. Here's my face. I've got this up, rappelling upside down with no hands in front of this damn thing. Get out of here, man. In front of Mexican instructors up here looking down. Gafe, I might add. And then I've got this over here, Tommy. I'm on the tarmac with the Mexican version of Air Force One standing right there, 50 feet from the plane. So when I'm asking you to return my calls, I'm already doing it knowing you blew this email off. And on top of it, did I give you my email, my number in here? I've sent you subsequent emails where I did. Tom, I'm not ever going to quit. I'm an American that became a Mexican agent in the drug war. You'll interview Tijuana pot dealers, but ghost me. At least let me know why. That was sent August 20th, 2025. Thanks, Dave. Nothing. P.S. It's crazy that going to Russia and then to Mexico to join the drug war just gets me ghosted by you people. That was August 20th, 2025. Dude. But Katerina Schultz gets a spot on Fernando Puente's podcast, El Bordo, and Fernando Puentes doesn't even know her name. You can't make this shit up, dude. You can't fucking make it up. So, let's try to keep this video to an hour today, okay? That's me proving my legitimacy, coupled with the documents I got down. You're contacting everybody. So anyways, you get back to me with this bullshit. Let's go back to my email. You give me a headache, man. Hi, Tommy. Spoke with Julian. Realized I may have come across. That was at that point in time. And then we get into your email that you sent yesterday. You tell me, Dave, yeah, man, you came pretty hot out of the gate. What, waiting over a fucking year for you to get back to me? That's pretty hot out of the gate? Accuse me of lying, gatekeeping, and having creative writers on my payroll. No, that's ironclad. What the hell is that about? That's what that's about. I've taken an hour to explain it to you. The reason why I'm hitting you back up is Julian Dory and Mark Gagnon said you're a good guy. Hey, Tommy, let's be clear. I don't give a fuck if you're hitting me back up. Take your fucking funky little podcast and go somewhere else with it. I'm not interested, dog. I will never. Well, I don't like to speak in absolutes. I would doubt at this point if I would ever go on to your podcast so you can sell more shit to your fucking audience. I don't need the exposure, dude. I will get it slowly but surely on my own fucking podcast. And Julian doesn't ever have to email the other second half. You know what I did? I went through all my fucking videos last night to sit there and give you the benefit of the doubt of whether or not you would email me back and treat me with the same courtesy I treat you with every single time. But of course you don't. You're sitting here talking with your buddies right now about what I told you in my email. We'll get to that. I respond with several pictures. We're going to get into that right now. To validate who I am to you. And nobody else in the cartel genre of anything has ever been treated with as much suspicion as I have, or has gone out to prove and vet and validate themselves to the extent that I have. To the extent that I have my own brothers at work on my own channel, man. And costing me views, because every time I make a video private that I've made about you previously, it costs me views, not you. Let's get back into your email. The reason I'm hitting you back up is Julian, Dorian, Mark Gagnon said you were a good guy. Hey, check this out, Wisconsin. I don't give a fuck if anybody thinks I'm a good guy. I was in Mexico by myself, assuming all that danger, by myself, without you, without anyone. So I'll say what the fuck I want about the cartel war. I don't like to cuss. I'm going to try to keep it clean, but just to be super clear, that's absolutely the case on that. You mentioned vetting is important. I agree. Could you please send over something that indicates you were on the front lines battling CJNG? Yeah, I did it a year ago, Tommy. And then I just did it again last night in case you're stupid and you don't get it the first time, because clearly you didn't. Could be documents, photos, videos. Yeah, like I already did a year ago. And like I did again last night. Like the videos I got up on my YouTube channel right now that other major podcasters include in their videos. Also, could you tell me a little more? What was your role? You mean like everything I stated in my Carta de Comisión that I've got posted on my YouTube channel, Tommy? Who did you work for? You mean like the Secretaría de Seguridad Pública, like everybody and their mother knows? How long did you do this for? When I already stated specifically what my entrance date and what my exit date was. Unlike Ed and his exact stuff, or Gaffe or any of the other people that are out there. Gaffe having 1 point some odd million viewers. Ed having several too. But I got to sit here. I put all my stuff out there. And I got 1,000. And I'm getting asked by people like you that were never there. Even Ed and Gaffe don't ask me this shit, Tommy. But it's okay. I'm going to humor you. Of course, if you can speak on cartel business authoritatively, that makes you a fantastic guest to have on. So let's start with verifying and go from there. Tommy. Hey, Tommy. I don't want to be on your funky little fucking show, dude. At all. I'm going to sit here and dog every fucking cartel member that you got on from now to the end of time. And I'm going to make sure that everybody that you got on, I'm going to cost myself money right now, Tommy, because I have fucking integrity. I'm never going to be on your show. I'm going to speak about that absolutely. You can say from now till the end of time, I will never be on your fucking show. I'm not changing you for a nickel. And I'm going to state it, and I'm going to man to my word. I'm not going to delete this video. I'm going to leave it uploaded. My wife's going to yell at me about it because my wife likes to make sure that I do the right thing. But I run a lot off of instinct, Tommy. Never going to be on your show. I'm going to prove right now that I sent stuff right here. You sent me that email last night? To Tommy, right here. I sent you all my Gatpe stuff. Here's my brothers, me on patrol taking a picture. I can't take a picture of my own back, Tommy, or I would send you that too. But me right here with the same guy, right here in the same thing, with the same hat, sent at 8:14 p.m. You sent me your email at 7:53. So I got back to you less than a half hour later, man. Immediately. Telling you, hey man, totally not my intent, just getting this at the movie with my wife. Want to have a cordial and collaborative relationship with you. Let me hit you back with all that. And I sent you this from my phone at the movies because I have it. I'd appreciate the email. I like Julian and Mark a lot. I hope we can be friends too. P.S. The first time I talked with you was more than a year ago. You blew me off. Not taking it personally, you're big time. That said, I'm legit and have fought these guys in person and have everything to prove it. Nowhere in there am I asking to be on your show. That's you. Yeah, man, it came pretty hot out the gate, right? So I send you that. I sent you more forwarded pics. Me down there diving. Procuraria Judicial de la Federación. I've got myself in a suit and tie right in front of that. And I got my visitor badge too, Tommy, that I'm in there with all the time. My guys thumbing me up. Come on, dude, what's up with this? Oh, that was the first one. Yeah, this is the first one where I sent this. And then I sent pics to you immediately afterwards. That. And this. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Here, Tommy. You want to pick? That's me on patrol right there behind the Federal Rhino. Federal troops. More federal troops. How the fuck did I get this picture, Tommy? Show me this picture anywhere else on the internet and scrape the data from it so you can see exactly where it's from. Okay? Here you go, Tommy. Me taking selfies with my helmet on. Okay? Us and our weapons in my black unit that I'm always in. That's the Dalai Lama that we're going to take care of right there too, by the way. I remember. How many more pics do I got in that? So, you know, I sent you enough pics from the phone last night just to get into that. Me over on Johnny Mitchell's set. So, Tommy, I don't want to be on your show. This video is at 1 hour and 2 minutes. I'm just going to post it exactly the way that it is. I'm going to title it Tommy G and Gazan and Israeli, or Gazan and Iranian cost per drop of blood. You guys do gatekeep, all of you. Johnny Mitchell's production guy gets back to me and tells me this is his wheelhouse. Johnny Mitchell, I love the episode that you did, but you accused me of some things that weren't exactly accurate. Working for the cartel. I've never worked for a cartel. There's stuff that you guys will get out of there. And you know, I don't expect perfection, but I do expect people to vet their sources, to vet them. Be as stringent as you've been with me, because you know what? What's crazy to me is I'm the only guy that's an American that can speak to you guys in English, and you guys are much more stringent with me than you are with fucking anybody in Mexico. I watch all these bullshit cartel hitman things pop up. Some fucking dude, what is it, the Arab guy? Got some guy that doesn't validate a fucking thing. Ollie Gonzalez, if you see this, Johnny Mitchell promised me your contact date. I still don't have it. Well over a month, and I got the phone call recorded with that too. So I don't care. I'm not here to make friends, man. I wasn't in Mexico to make friends, and that's enough out of this. I'm just going to upload. This is part 1. I'm going to edit part 2, upload that, and then I'm going to get my wife's stuff for the book done, and then my schoolwork. Cheers. Pierre Rossini, if you'd like to see something and have a head up in something, or Vince Vargas, or any of you guys over at Ironclad, Joe Rogan and Sean Ryan, all you guys that have blown me off for years so you can get your clicks, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not hiding my face.